Hey guys, HelpingHans here, bringing you a top tip for team games, and that is utilising the power of Recon in conjunction with off-map abilities. So why is this important? I bet you any money that you've played Company Heroes 2 and you've had a 4v4 or a 3v3 where your opponents have been mass spamming artillery and you haven't been able to counter it. Now, if you had good synergy with your teammates and you used a reconnaissance ability with an off-map ability, which is generally artillery or a plane strike, which helps you quickly neutralize that enemy artillery piece before it's even fired its second salvo, for instance. And that way, your opponent has lost a lot of resources because they've not had much worth out of that, and you'll have a lot easier time, and you'll most likely not lose units because obviously you just killed that artillery piece. And so that is the aim of this video. So I'm going to show you guys how to utilize off-map abilities with Recon for every single faction of Company Heroes 2. Let's get into it. So when I'm talking about Recon, what do I mean? So any type of reconnaissance unit or off-map ability, such as recon planes, off-map flares, unit flares like from the sniper or the Panzer Fusiliers, and vehicles like the infrared half-track. So guys, let's first start with the Axis. Now, with the Axis have a lot of means to their disposal to be able to spot enemy artillery pieces. Now, one of the ways for the Axis is if an OKW picks the commander Special Operations. Now, Special Operations has this ability, the artillery flares at 60 munitions, and you can drop this in the fog of war wherever. So over here we have some enemy artillery that we know that's over here, but we can't just drop artillery down first as first because we need vision to be able to do so. So what we'll do is we'll give artillery flares to give ourselves vision of this area. So we just click on this ability, drop it here.
Bombing artillery barrage has begun.
And then your austere teammates, hopefully they've chosen a commander with an off-map ability. Here we've got the ability Stuka Bomb Strike or Railway Artillery Support. This can be found on Jaeger Armor. This one can be found on the Ostrupa command. And what you want to do is then click on this ability and then drop it directly on top of the artillery piece in question. And then, in 8 seconds, the bomb will drop. Even if the enemy hears it, they can't do anything because it is a static unit and it can't move. And that way, quickly take down enemy artillery in one fell swoop. So, 60 munition flare in conjunction with a Stuka bombing strike. Railway artillery would also have the same impact there as well, and we're pretty much guaranteed to wipe it as well. So another demonstration of this is this time we're going to use a different type of recon, which is the Panzer Fusilier flare. They have to be Veteran C1 to be able to use their flare. It costs 35 munitions, and we just know that there's a couple of Katyushas that recently fired from this area, and we can't see them, but what we're going to do is we're going to pop a flare over here, and then that's going to grant us vision of that area. And then our teammate could then use maybe a strafing run from planes to come and assist us. So we could then drop airborne assault here. We now have vision of this area, and now the planes will come in and start strafing these Katyushas before they've got a chance to pull back. And even if they try and pull back away from this, they're most likely going to go down to these planes. You could also maybe drop the Stuka Bomb Strike as well, the Railway Artillery Support, but it's a lot better to try and drop in a quick strafe like a plane, where, as this is a moving target, you need something that can chase it around, right? So a strafing run like a plane run like that would be quite effective against that. And there you go. In this instance, we have a Veteran C3 222 equipped with spotting scopes. Now, spotting scopes, if I just move this unit and set it up near the front line, it's already got a decent amount of vision, right? But if you have it stationed for a few seconds, it then activates the spotting scopes. You can see a lot further, and here you're allowed to see way further than most of enemy vehicles and units can actually shoot back at you here, as you can see. So here you go, you have your 222, nowhere in any danger there, so plenty of time to reverse back as well if it sees an enemy tank trying to chase it. And then your teammate, maybe with a Stuka, or maybe yourself with a Panzerwerfer, can then line up a really nice tasty Stuka rocket like so. Remember, there we go with the Stuka rocket. Also, the third chevron on the rocket is where the first rocket is going to land, so remember that. So that means the third rocket is going to land directly on top of that MG. If we just turn it around like that, there we go. And then we're going to barrage with the Stuka. Here we go. There you go. Then we had a decent barrage there, wiping that MG and damaging quite a lot of his other units there as well. And that's going to probably make him force back. And then now is a good time to push in with your units. for instance. So there you go. Good use of combining the vision bonus of the 2-2 with the spotting scopes and that of Veteran Seek 3 in conjunction with a teammate's artillery piece unit. Another way to gain vision in enemy territory is perhaps even spawning in a stormtrooper squad, for instance, behind enemy lines. And you have to use the infiltration on them, and you have to click an idle building. This is kind of risky because you don't know if an enemy is occupied, for instance, a building like this. But most times, it's such a backline building like this is unlikely to be occupied. So you then click on your stormtrooper unit, you click on there, you click on the house, you now are inside there, you've got vision because the unit is there. You can have them on hold fire and right next to cover to keep them hidden as well. And then that allows you to, to give vision to your teammate, who then can maybe drop a bomb, maybe even, for instance, railway, on these two artillery pieces. Here with railway, in the centre of these two are probably best. As you can see, that one shot decreased both of them, and the remaining shots should blow the rest of the weapons. There you go. It's also a good point to note, guys, if you are going to use on-map artillery, don't have your artillery pieces close together like this, because you can see one ability here that's pretty much wiped both of these artillery pieces out. And then maybe you want your squad upgrades to Shrek and comes in and then attack moves and finishing off the weapon like that so they can't recruit. Okay? So don't forget you can utilize your stormtroopers with camouflage to sneak around the back, and you can do this with allied factions such as the partisan infiltration partisans. Over here you can maybe power drop some airborne squad in behind enemy lines to give yourself the vision. And also for Brits, infiltration commandos, or just normal commando glider coming around the back to give yourself vision as well. But again, these are kind of high risk choices for Recon, as you might lose the squad as they try to retreat back to base, or they might get found out and die in the process. So be careful when doing this. Maybe even if you're ballsy enough, get a sniper and creep a sniper all the way up from the front line to the enemy back line, hopping from cover to cover as he proceeds to do so. However, that is again very risky, and it's high chance of you being spotted. However, if your opponent isn't really, mindful of the extreme flanks, you might be able to sneak a sniper like all the way around the back, up here, around the back here, because no one ever comes over here really. And you can sneak up to all the way back here, and then maybe jump over here, and then you would spot the artillery, for instance, like there. So there you go. So next, let's get on to the allied recon abilities. Let's go through the non-doctrinal abilities for recon. So by that I mean you don't have to choose a commander to gain recon. So let's go for the Soviets. The Soviets, once they get Efficiency 1, they can use a flare, pop a flare in the sky, like you saw with the Panzer Fusiliers. Same thing there. You can also have a Major, which pops Recon Run, costing you 50 munitions. However, this plane can be shot down. Bear that in mind. And also you have the Assault Officer, which again, he needs Efficiency 1, but has a 50 munition Recon Sweep that can't be shot down, and it will do a Recon Sweep in a certain specific direction. So you can see here, this is the Assault Officer's Recon ability. Once they gain Efficiency 1, they can tell the plane to go into any direction they want to go to. Currently, the Major does not have that. As you can see, it's just in a certain area. But in the next patch, guys, that will happen later in 2021, it'll have that Recon Run will be the exact same kind of ability that the Assault Officer has as well. So these are non-doctrinal abilities you can use for Recon. So right now, guys, we know that there are 2 enemy LEFHs that have been sighted in this area. However, as a Soviet player, we can't drop a bomb on them just yet because we need vision, right? What we can do is we can ask one of our allied players, one of the Americans or the British, to provide us with recon. So here we go with the Major. The Major is going to pop his recon run over here, and the Soviet player needs to be on his ball game here because he's only got a short window now to drop the artillery down once the plane spots it, because the recon run only shows the area for a split amount of time. So let your teammate know when you're doing this. We're going to spot the enemy artillery, then we're going to drop the bombing run down like that, and the bombing strike will come down and blow up the target. Like so. There you go. Same thing can be done with the Assault Officer. So again, recon run in the general area you want the plane to fly. Again, as we look overhead, there is no plane in the sky. You can't see that it can be shot down, but it is there. And again, here comes the plane. It's going to give you vision of the area. And same thing again, bombing run.
Illusion IL-2 bomb strike imminent.
Plane. There you go. So now I'll just go through the commanders on each faction to say which I think are good in coordination with each other in terms of using recon with off-map artillery abilities. So first of all, there's this commander we used just now, which is Mechanized Support Tactics. This has the R2 Bombing Strike, which is great to take down enemy artillery emplacements. You've got over here, you've got the Counter-Attack Tactics, which has Recon Overflight, which again is just a commander ability to give yourself recon on the battlefield for your teammates. Terror Tactics is another commander with R2 Bombing Strike. Soviet Combined Arms Army as well, with this time has a Recon Overflight as well as the R2 Bombing Strike, which allows you to do both of the things yourself without relying on a teammate at all. However, that is going to require a lot of munitions, as you're going to be spending it on 2 abilities here rather than just 1. You've got Shock Mortar Heavy Tactics again with another IR2 Bombing Strike there. I wouldn't recommend Shock Rifle Frontline Tactics, guys, as the Incendiary Artillery Barrage here only burns and kills the crew. It doesn't actually damage the weapon much, so that's just a waste of resources if you go for that. Next, let's go on to the USF. So the USF, they have the Armoured Company. The 270mm Howitzer Barrage is very good to take down enemy artillery pieces. The Infantry Company Commander, the Time on Target, is also very good. That ability there. I would also say Recon Support Company with the R and R Pathfinders. They have a ability which allows them to drop off-map artillery, which does quite a lot of damage very quickly and will take down enemy artillery, which is very good. That's it for the Americans. Let's go now on to the British. So with the Advanced Emplacement Regiment, you have Precision Barrage, which allows you to, again, get some good artillery down to wipe enemy artillery pieces off. So with the Commando Regiment, guys, the Air Supremacy Operation is fairly decent at killing enemy artillery. However, it is kind of random where those bombs are going to drop. Sometimes it might miss, so it's not 100% reliable, but it's not too bad. And again, like I said earlier, with the Commando Glider Insertion, you can get that vision there with the Commando drop in, and then your teammates can then drop artillery because you've just given them vision to do so. So you've got Royal Artillery Regiment, the Concentration Barrage, along with Perimeter Overwatch are very good. Then onto Royal Artillery Regiment, then onto Artillery Regiment, the Concentration Barrage is quite good for helping taking down artillery pieces. Not 100% guaranteed, but not too bad. Special Weapons Regiment, the Concentrated Fire Operation ability here is very good at, again, taking down enemy artillery. So guys, also the Vanguard Operation Crocodile cool-in ability is also very handy, because when you cool that in, actually you can drop flares in a designated area. So you could do this to drop flares for your teammates to then drop artillery down, which is pretty awesome. Same thing with Tactical Support Regiment there. You can have the same Crocodile ability there. Now on to Axis with Austere. Number 1 commander here, I would say, is Jaeger Armor Doctrine. Here, again, you have Recon and Stuka Bombing Strike. So you could do the reconning and the artillery ability yourself there to take down enemy artillery. So, but again, that's going to be quite expensive as you're spending munitions on 2 abilities there. You've also got the spotting scopes, again, as you saw with the 222, getting yourself a lot of vision with a Veteran C3 222 to give yourself vision on enemy positions. The Ostrupen commander here with the railway artillery support, that's very good at leveling enemy artillery positions. Any commander with fragmentation bombs, like the German infantry commander or Spearhead, is very effective against damaging and possibly wiping enemy weapon crews. So don't forget that. Very effective, especially at quickly wiping maybe enemy retreating squads as well, if you time their retreat path correctly, as well as enemy vehicles, soft vehicles like the Katyushas, priests, things like that will do, pretty much one-shot them if they get hit with a fragmentation bomb. And then also any commander with the Stuka Bomb Strike, so the Storm Doctrine, again, as we talked about the Jaeger Armor one. Here we have Lightning War Doctrine, so the Stuka Close Air Support. If you get, if your teammates provide you vision with the OKW Special Operations Flare, the Stuka Close Air Support will come in and strafe down and kill all those tasty artillery pieces like the Katyushas and stuff. However, they won't target static things like the ML-20s and B-4s, things like that. It won't shoot them, but it will target vehicles, so bear that in mind. Luftwaffe has Stuka Bomber Strike. You've got Sector Artillery there. That would be good if your opponent has put their artillery near the actual sector point itself. Now on to OKW. OKW have fairly limited options here when it comes to dropping artillery themselves, but here are their options. The Assault Artillery, again, is good against, if the enemy artillery is kind of close to the front line, you can drop it there. The Rocket Barrage from Firestorm is pretty reliable at taking down enemy artillery if you drop it on them. Zeroing Artillery is pretty good, but again, you need vision to be able to do that. The The Scavenge Doctrine with the 105 Howitzer Barrage, that is pretty decent if you drop that right on top of enemy artillery. And then I would say the Special Operations Doctrine, amazing with getting that artillery flare. You could drop that in. You can't counter that ability. You're gonna get seen if your allies and that artillery flare has been dropped on you. So you just better hope that the other Axis team members haven't got any off-map artillery abilities, because that's a really, really good ability. Special Operations Doctrine. So there you guys go. That is the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it interesting and helpful. And if you want more awesome content, make sure to click over here and over here. If you want to subscribe, click here. Notification bell down there. Click on that so you're notified whenever I post new YouTube content. And you can catch me nearly every single day, apart from Mondays, on twitch.tv/HelpingHans. And I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching.